You started Union Square Cafe 35 years ago, amazingly. A lot's changed over the years. We're probably going to look back at 2020 as the year it changed the most. And you've talked about the need for change and time to rethink everything in this industry. What are your thoughts about what needs to change and what can change?
Well, let's start with the word everything. Everything needs to change and everything can change. The only thing that I think doesn't ever want to change is hospitality, which is that people come to restaurants like ours not just because they're hungry and thirsty, but I would say primarily because they want to feel loved. They want to feel like they belong somewhere. And I don't think that is ever going to change. But I think that the way we do that and the way we present it, and frankly, the way we pay people in our industry really needs to change. So now all of a sudden the pandemic has laid bare everything that is wrong about our industry. We've done a really lousy job of educating the public on why it's worth paying more to treat people who work in restaurants as well as they would like to be treated as guests. And
And and
that's our next great frontier.
And interestingly, we're a pioneer in terms of taking tipping away and including it, hospitality included. You recently went back on that. Do you see going back down that path in the future, or is it more about changing laws and rules?
Now, I think what a lot of people don't know perhaps is that most restaurants with tipping are called pool houses. And what that means is the tips that you leave for a bartender if you're getting a drink at the bar. Remember those days? Or the tip you may leave your waiter is shared amongst all tip eligible workers. But what you also may not know is that it's illegal for any of those tips to be shared with cooks or people who wash the dishes or who receive the food. Because of this arcane rule called the 80-20 rule, which says that if you don't spend at least 80% of your hours in a guest-facing position, you may not share in the tips. I don't know why the law exists, but it's a big problem. The statistics bear out that about 70% of workers who are tip ineligible in the back of the house just happen to be people of color. Whereas about 60% of people in the front of the house making 4 times as much money just happen to be white. And that's an industry issue that my company is committed to doing all we can to confront. But I did not want to perpetuate that system. So we eliminated tipping. Now, fast forward and we have the pandemic and we go, did the elimination of tipping actually help our workers or not? And the answer is we learned that we had only modestly contracted the wage gap, which felt good. But meanwhile, we realized that the problem was not tipping. The problem was the inability to share tips. At this time, as we're beginning to open restaurants with street side dining, et cetera, people really, really want to leave a big tip.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put our staff members in a position of saying, I'm not allowed to accept your gratitude. Now, what do we want to move to? Now that we're moving back to accepting tips in the front of the house, it remains illegal to share those tips. So we decided unilaterally that in addition to accepting tips for our front of the house workers, we're going to pay a percentage of our nightly revenue to the kitchen so that they also can rise with the tide. So the more business we do, in addition to their hourly pay, they will make more money.
That's great. You touched on the disparity between the kitchen and the front of house workers. You have a unique opportunity from a diversity and inclusion standpoint as you rehire for your restaurants over the next, whether it's 6, 12, 18, 24 months. How are you thinking about that? I know you think about diversity being an important part of culture, but almost with a clean slate. Is this a new opportunity?
Just to put this in perspective, on March the 13th, we had about 2,200 employees at Union Square Hospitality Group. And a week ago, we had 51.
Oh.
What that means is that that whereas we had what I hoped were both ambitious and reasonable goals for diversity and inclusion, that we were pretty much pegging to 2025. There's no reason to not hit those numbers the minute we're back in business.
Right. You are a New York City centric business. We are as well, obviously, and we actually just signed a 15-year lease. So we're betting on New York coming back.
I saw that.
Congratulations. Thank you. We're excited about it. What do you think this does for the future of New York City? Do you worry about it, or do you think it bounces back like it always has?
It will absolutely bounce back like it always has. And I think there's going to be some remarkable opportunities for businesses that have capital and ingenuity, probably not before a year and a half or 2 years from now, but there's going to be remarkable opportunities. Manhattan is not going poof. It's not going away. It's a place that people have been drawn forever who want to achieve exceptional things. It's a place that has always drawn the best performers and the best audiences for everything. And that'll come back.